Hi, welcome to this brief introductory video on how to make customizations in the HR Data Manager. This video is going to just add a simple field to the database without any drop downs or other complicated things. This is just a first step, basic level to show how quick and easy customizations can be made in the HR Data Manager. We're always happy to make customizations for you on our end, but if you choose to make them on your end, you'll need to have the HR Data Manager Enterprise Plus edition, which comes with the full source code, including the HRDM full source linked file, which you can see here on the screen. In order to make changes like adding a field, there's multiple places that need to be modified for that to work. Data changes or changes to the actual tables that support the database need to be made in the file hrdmdata.accdb. That's the backend data file, and in this case it's in my installation folder, but in your case it may be on a shared network location. And it's important to note that before making any changes to any of these files, you'll want to make sure that you have a current backup, so that if something goes wrong or gets corrupted, anything like that, that you have a current backup and can get things right back to the way they were before starting. So anyway, like I say, the data changes go in hrdmdata.accdb, front end changes go in hrdm full source linked. The standard interface file that gets installed on the end user's workstation is HR Data Manager ACCDE, this file at the top. But this is a locked down file that doesn't allow users to access the backend or the code. The HRDM full source linked file allows you to do that. But first thing, we're going to go ahead and go into the data file, and we're going to add a field to the employee table. Once I'm in, on the left hand side I've got the navigation pane, and in yours it may or may not be expanded. If it's not, you can expand it using the little arrow there at the top. I'm going to look down and find table employee, right mouse click on it and select design. And then I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and in this empty row here I'm going to type the name of a new field. And in this case we do want it to be a text value, but if you had a different type field you were adding, you could use these other types. Memo is for long text, like long comments or narratives. There's number, date, time, currency, yes, no for like checkbox and so forth. But for the purpose of this video, we want to keep things simple, so we're just going to have CVP status, and it's going to be a text type data field. In labels in the system, it's okay to have spaces in names or the label, but for the actual table name, it's good to not put any spaces. This makes it more compatible with other systems and porting data back and forth. So we're going to go ahead and close out of this table and say save. And then we're done with the HRDM data file. So now we need to go make that same change in the employee interface in the HRDM full source linked file. When we open this file, it looks a lot like the regular front end file, and that's because this is the file that creates the front end file. So I'm going to go ahead and go into employee data. I'm going to right click over here and say design. And then what we're going to do, we're actually going to cheat here, because rather than drag in, I could drag in that new field from right over here on the right hand side, but then its border, color, the fonts, they're not going to match perfectly. So We're going to cheat here and actually just pick a different field, like employee number, because that's not a drop down, it's just a standard text field. We're going to right click and say copy, and then click right on where it says general so that it gets put on this page, and we're going to say paste. And it always pushes it down to the very bottom, and we can fix that here in a minute, but let's go ahead and get the cursor right up along the edge, and we can drag that up to right there. Expand that out some. And while that's highlighted, if I go to properties, control source relates back to that table change we made in the other file. If I hit the drop down and scroll all the way down, there's the field we added, CVP status. So now if I say copy, I can paste that up into the name also. And then I can come up here and change the label. One thing we need to watch for when adding fields in the interface is that things still flow properly. So we're going to want to change the tab order, which is the order that the fields move when the user's tabbing in the interface, to make sure that CVP status comes right after location. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to click right on general, right mouse click, and select tab order. Scroll all the way to the bottom until I see our new field. Click on the gray box right next to it to highlight it. Then I'm going to press down on the left mouse button. I'm going to drag that up until I see location. And then I'm just going to drop it right under there. And say OK. And then remember when we copied from the employee number field, it added some space at the bottom. So we're actually going to come down and just drag that box back up as far as it'll go, and then pull that bar right up as far as it'll go. I'm going to go to the top and press save. I'm going to close that, and then let's go ahead and open that and see what it looks like. And there we go. We have a fully functional field added to our system. CVP status right after location. So again, we'll get into more advanced topics in some other videos, but the purpose of this video was simply to add a basic field and show at the most basic level how customizations can be made to the HR Data Manager. Thank you for your time, and look forward to providing other videos so you can make customizations and dial the HR Data Manager in to do exactly what you need it to do. Thank you.